What's up, guys? Farooqi Bros here, back with another quick video. Today we're gonna be discussing J.J. Abrams, and in particular his brand new deal with Warner Bros. So to give you guys a quick introduction before we introduce ourselves, J.J. Abrams was being courted by multiple studios, including Apple, including Disney, and including Warner Brothers, to basically start making new content for them. And for those of you guys who don't know what J.J. Abrams' work, he's done movies like Star Trek, and he's done Star Wars. His new movie, Star Wars Episode 9, is coming out this December. In the end, Warner Bros. Did win the courting of J.J. Abrams, and they paid almost a $500 million deal to secure him. So now that J.J. Abrams is on Warner Brothers, payroll, we can discuss what we think about it. So let's just introduce ourselves. I am Editor-in-Chief Shiraz Farooqi, and I'm joined by my brother Zayan.
What's up, guys?
My cousin Umar.
Hey, everyone.
And my other cousin Samir.
What's up?
Now, before we get into J.J. Abrams and what the potentials are of this deal with Warner Brothers, I want to quickly take a second to talk about our sponsor for the day. And before we continue our podcast, I wanted to share something with you that I'm pretty excited about. Comic Book Debate is growing every single day with various types of content, and we're always looking to continue to expand and grow. So I was really excited when I found about the app called Amino and their new stories feature. And I wanted to see some of these stories, and it really stood out to me. They're different than any other type of stories because you can tell people spend time creating them, but they're just as fun as quick as any other social media platform. So I'm excited to announce that I've actually partnered up with Amino to create some new stories of my very own. One of these stories is like a top 4 Superman adaptations. So to quickly find my channel, you can click the link in the description or the pinned YouTube comment, or you can search for Amino apps to download Amino. To find my stories, you can quickly go on the main page, and you can just quickly search my name, Shiraz Farooqi, in users, and you'll find me. You can just quickly click the bell to know when I'm be posting new videos. Just like YouTube, every time you watch one of my videos, you're going to be supporting me and supporting Comic Book Debate. So if you like Comic Book Debate and you like our videos, this is a simple and free way to keep me creating. Thanks, guys. So let's get back into the discussion of it. Zion, what do you think about J.J. Abrams joining Warner Brothers, and what do you think the potential applications are, not just for DC, but as a whole for the director and the company?
Well, obviously his deal is not just solely about DC, like you said. It's giving him an opportunity to make more of his own personal films and have his own projects. But I know all of us are really concerned about what his place will be in the future of DC and DC films. And it feels like how much money they're investing in him, that they really want him to probably be like the spearhead. And like, I don't want to say like the Flyby figure, but like somebody who can oversee or control what's like direction DC goes. That's what I feel like they brought him in for. We'll see what happens. Obviously, they'll probably give him his pick of whatever film he wants, whatever character or film he wants to direct. There's a lot of people saying Green Lantern, a lot of people saying Superman. I'm saying I feel like whoever he chooses, whoever he's most comfortable with, is best. And if I had advice, I'd say choose a Justice Leaguer. So like, if he chose Flash, I wouldn't mind that either. And any of the Justice League characters we haven't seen.
Let's not forget the moment Flash has a director.
Oh, does?
Yes, man. The guy from the 2 Homecoming Riders. We don't podcast about it. The 2 Homecoming Riders are the directors of the Flash movie.
I thought they were fighting in the script who's going to get.
But they're writing and directing. That's the thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, but still,
yeah.
If he wants to take obscure characters and do something with it, he can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically it.
I want him to. I mean, dude, all of us want him to do a Superman movie, but I think the chances are slim to none. And so I would say like something that was brought up earlier when we were talking just amongst ourselves. He could tackle like a character that hasn't really been done yet, like Green Lantern. Although Green Lantern was done by the Ryan Reynolds crap, but he could do something like that. He could do like Martian Manhunter. He could do Hawkgirl. He could do like something like outside of like the mainstream. And because it doesn't have to be like Superman, Batman. You already have people working on like the main stuff. Or you could have him do Superman and then recast Henry Cavill. Because I think Henry Cavill's booked till 2024 or something, right? Right, Charles?
Yeah, probably. I mean, with the new movie, we can talk about that in a second. But with the new movie he has lined up, and if you assume Witcher goes for multiple seasons, I don't see him having any free space for time to come.
Yeah, so he could recast. I mean, and I think right now is the time that you would recast because they're already recasting people. I think Ezra Miller's gone. Ray Fisher's not even. They're not even going to do anything with Cyborg. Robert Pattinson. Oh my God, Pattinson is the new Batman.
Okay, Ezra Miller isn't gone though. I thought wasn't there a new report saying that?
Well, there's one guy on Twitter who met Ezra Miller in person, and is saying that Ezra Miller told him something, but he can't tell anybody else. So we don't know if he's lying. He's not lying. He put a picture of him like hugging Ezra Miller. So it's like he's showing he met him in New York, actually.
As far as the official news
goes. But we don't know like if the chances are like I wouldn't bet that he's coming back at all. So I would say he's gone. But again, for JJ, I think before I pass it to Samir, I think it's important to realize, like his pedigree. He does a lot of sci-fi. So, Star Trek and Star Wars are the two biggest like space adventure franchises in Hollywood, and he's done a great job with both of them, So in that sense, you think if he does something with DC, he would also want to think space and sci-fi. That's why people thought Green Lantern Corps, but who are actually looking for a director right now. So of course he could be a natural fit. But let's see what he does. Samir, what do you think about J.J. Abrams joining Warner Brothers? What kind of characters do you want him to do?
What's thinking Supergirl, bro?
Bro, the thing, they're actually looking for a Supergirl director also. That's the thing. They're actively looking for someone. Yeah, exactly. But I think they're going to...
the whole Superman thing, so...
I think they're going to give a woman the...
like a female director.
Yeah, I think they'll get a female director for that. I don't know who they're looking for, but again, from some reports, the Supergirl movie will be out of universe. But again, what isn't out of universe these days? So you can continue, Samir. What ideas you got for J.J. Abrams?
So I don't know what I want him to make would be Green Lantern, I guess. I want to say a good Green Lantern movie. We've already seen like the Superman movies that the DCEU is moving away from the whole Superman era thing.
That's true.
So I guess with his experience, the Green Lantern would be the next fit.
Yeah,
me and Samir are on the same page.
Yeah, so now I'll give my opinion, but even though it's already been stated, I really do want him to do a Superman movie. Now let's just get one thing out of the way. In the early 2000s, he was hired by Warner Bros. To make a Superman movie. It was called Superman Flyby.
Was that before Singer?
It was before Superman Returns, yeah. So it was the movie they were thinking of making before they ended up opting for Superman Returns instead. That script was going to be a reboot, extremely dark and gritty. I think it had like a very... for our readers who don't know what the story's about, I'll give you a very quick overview. It's about very Lion King-esque in the sense where Superman was supposed to be king of Krypton. Like he's the heir, like Jor-El is king of Krypton, and Kal-El would have been the heir, and then Krypton never explodes. Instead, there's like a war going on, and Zod is like Superman's cousin or something, and there's like a war for the throne of Krypton, and then Jor-El, before he dies, sends Kal-El to Earth in an attempt to save him, but in reality, Krypton never explodes, and the idea of his J.J. Abrams' pitch was that it would be a Superman trilogy, and by the third movie, he would be adult enough and mature enough where he can go back to Krypton and reclaim his throne, in a sense, and become king of Krypton again. That was the pitch J.J. Abrams had for Superman. It didn't have...
That's Loki not the bad.
Yeah, honestly, the script, it's actually available now, so anyone can read it. It did not get good received well, and it obviously Warner Brothers chose in the end to just make Superman Returns, which was considered the most safer option, which eventually led to another reboot in Man of Steel, and now it's going to reboot it again for whoever it happens. So it's not like it doesn't show that JJ was going to use that script. It shows that JJ has interest in Superman as a character. The second point I wanted to bring with Superman is specifically to do with Star Wars Episode 9. I think we're all looking forward to that movie a lot. But the cool thing here is that he's working directly with Chris Terrio, who wrote Batman v Superman and Justice League. So you're working with a writer who has an incredible amount of history with the character of Superman, and he's helping you finish off the entire Skywalker saga of Star Wars. That means you trust him in something. So in theory, if JJ is going back to Warner, not back to where he's going to Warner Brothers now, he could say, me, Chris Terrio, let's work together. If you guys remember from our Larry Fong podcast, Larry actually told us on the podcast he used to be neighbors with JJ, and he worked with JJ Abrams on a movie called Super 8. He was the director of photography on that film, so they also Larry has a connection with him. And finally, for the Zack Snyder fans out there, he is a good friend of Zack's, and they've had work together. They have synergy together in terms of their jokes. You know, there was a whole BVS and Star Wars kind of thing going a few years ago, if you remember. So, you know, for people who are holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, one guy can come in and right the ship and use Henry Cavill and kind of keep it in universe, he's the only director who would choose to do that. I think anyone else you get, it's gonna be a reboot. But I think if someone could fix the ship, it'd be JJ. Which leads me to the next question, which I'll send to Umar. It's like the last question round. Do you think JJ Abrams should not just direct a DC movie, he should oversee the DCEU as a whole, like Kevin Feige does?
Yeah, I would actually. It depends though. Like, I feel like if he was, you would have to give him kind of free reign, and you would have to like let him plot out like a few movies. Like he would have to be up for that too. I think to do oversight like Kevin Feige, you would have to look at how to interconnect the films, like how to actually build up the universe. And I think J.J. Abrams is like, because he has experience with Star Wars. He's someone that can do that. Like he's someone that can do that easily.
I mean, the funny thing is, like, when you think about, like, when we talk about, you know, in sports terms, like the idea of a max contract. I mean, they signed JJ to the Supermax. You know, they signed him to like that 10-year, $500 million. Like, if you think about $500 million, that's a lot of money. They're paying that guy a lot of money to show up. Like, and when you're giving someone $500 million, and by him I mean arbitrarily, they're taking his entire production company. So when you say someone's getting $500 million, it's not just to do one movie or two movies. Like, you're giving him the boat, like, do a lot of things. So
I think it would have to be also up to him.
But it's interesting to point that he never did an MCU movie. Even though it was under Disney banner, he never chose to do a Marvel movie.
I think it's because I think some directors, they're not up for it on the basis that, like Christopher Nolan, for example. Like, Christopher Nolan was up for it, but he was up for that specific character and he made him like the most realistic version of that character. And even the way he like structured the story was his own way. I think most people they don't come to this like space, and like they're shy from coming to this space because of the amount of pressure that comes with making these types of films, right? Like, for him to, like, if they announce tomorrow, oh, Superman, like he's gonna make the next Superman movie, you know, and let's say Henry Cavill was like, and Henry Cavill's probably not going to be in it, even if he announced that, right? That means he's going to have to go and find somebody. He's going to be at a disadvantage from the start. He has to go and find someone now that at least has the look that Henry Cavill did. Henry Cavill maybe doesn't have, maybe we talked about it before, but like he's one of the best like Superman, but like Superman or whatever. But he's maybe not the best actor out of the bunch that have played the character, and that puts immense pressure on whoever else is going to come, because Henry Cavill, even if you disagreed with like the way he played the character, a lot of people still said that he looks like Superman. A lot of people, when there was a whole report about him leaving or whatever, him hanging up the cape, a lot of people got angry because they were like, dude, no, he has the look. You know what I mean? So
it was trending worldwide when that report came out.
So I think J.J. Abrams, if he does decide to make a Superman movie, I think he's at a disadvantage from the start. But also because he's a genius and because he's a very good director, I think he could do it still. Like, I think even with that disadvantage,
I think the goal would be, you have to go the opposite direction. Like, one of the reasons why people swallowed the idea that Ben Affleck is not coming back is that Matt Reeves from the beginning was saying that he wants to do a young Batman story. So of course an old Batman doesn't work out. In this case, this is different for Superman because Superman as a character doesn't age. So even when he's an old guy, he doesn't really show that he's old. But if JJ wanted to do a Superman story and the Superman's already established, meaning you don't do a reboot, but like, if you reboot, you don't do the whole origin story again. You just start the movie at a point where Superman is Superman, you know? And you just do a Superman story, a good one, where he's already established, you know?
I think that's still tough, though. I think that's still very hard.
It's still hard, yeah.
You would have no connection with that Superman. Like he really would. He would have to still build that throughout. I mean, he could. I think it could be. I think the amazing thing about fitting a film in, right? He could have done a film right after the theatrical version of Justice League, like right after that. Even though we all hate the theatrical version, it does end him. It puts him at a point where he's like, so he's Superman now. Like he's full-fledged Superman with all his powers and everything. So the interesting thing about the reason why people do want a Man of Steel 2, and even me, like, and I love what Zach did. I absolutely loved like the dark stuff, and I loved how I loved the way he was telling that story. But at the same time, as a Superman fan, I would it's been a while since we saw the other version, like the version that is saving cats out of trees and like just like that version, the more like campy version, relaxed version.
You made a good point about how after Justice League, he's basically established as like the regular Superman that everybody knows, the more hopeful, the more happy one. They could easily just continue it because it doesn't really matter what happened. It doesn't even matter what. They don't have to ever talk about Batman v Superman or Justice League. They don't have to mention Darkseid again. You can just continue that Superman because he's at that place already where, all right, he's loved by everybody. He's like the regular Superman everybody knows and loves.
And in canon, the studio wanted.
Yeah, and in canon, in story canon, like he's probably like BVS Superman, he's hated and stuff like that until the end. But after JL, we saw Superman again. We saw him in Shazam, and it's not about the actors playing him now. We're talking about the character in the story. He's at the point where all the kids are like getting up and like gasping when Superman shows up to the room, meaning he's very much like the standard Superman now. Like he's your everyday Superman. Like that even though he was a headless Superman, that Superman actually was the DCEU Superman. Like that's the same Superman that we saw in Man of Steel. He's just at the point now where he can just pull up to a school to surprise kids and surprise Shazam and Billy, and it feels organic. Like I didn't mind it. It felt organic. So,
I think in theory, they could recast, honestly, and I think
keep the suit.
And keep the suit. Keep
the universe
keep the universe going. Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about in one of our other podcasts too that there's no issue in like recasting, right? Like at the end of the day, bro, these guys only played like 2-3 movies. You can always recast and move on. See where the universe goes. It sucks in terms of continuity's sake because you would love, we like the MCU model, and the MCU model, like, let's not lie, like the MCU model is the gold standard. Like, they killed it, man. 10 years, that's crazy.
So, like when you think about JJ and you offer him $500 million to show up and just do things, if he wants to be a franchise guy. And he's shown he likes doing his own things too, so obviously he's going to make some more TV shows. I'm sure he has a lot of ideas that he wants to do, but when you bring a guy who's used to franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek, he has an idea, and who has already written a Superman script. He knows he has interest in these characters. You don't bring him into Warner Brothers and not let him touch the biggest IP they have, That's their biggest property is DC Comics. Like
that'd be stupid, dude.
Yeah, so they have to. I'm sure they're gonna offer it to him. And remember, if they offered James Gunn Superman, they did. They showed James Gunn like 10 characters, and they said take whoever you want. And one of those 10 characters was Superman. And James Gunn obviously didn't choose Superman. He ended up choosing the Suicide Squad. But the idea was it's still pitching it to people at that time. That was 2 years ago, almost now, maybe a year and a half ago. For JJ, it'd be the same thing. They would probably offer him the whole gambit and say, take anyone you want, and then we just hope they take Superman or whoever, a Green Lantern or Hawkman or Martian Manhunter. You can kill whoever he chooses. But I think just sentimentally, because you want to see Superman on screen again, I feel like we want. And since JJ's already written a Superman script, logic would dictate that maybe he would rule Superman himself. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Do you want J.J. Abrams making a Superman movie? Or do you think you want to make another movie? Let us know down below. And next week we have our Spider-Man Far From Home spoiler talk. You just heard my individual review, but that was no spoilers. If you want to hear all the crazy stuff that happened in Far From Home, we'll discuss it next week. So remember to subscribe and put the bell on for the notifications so you know right when our next videos go up. So from myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir, this is the Farooqi Bros. We'll see you next time. Peace out.